Namaste, everyone. Let's all be seated. Let's align ourselves. Wherever you're seated, roll your shoulders 2 to 3 times. Allow your shoulders, the tensions which you might have carried for the entire day, be released. Check your spine, uplift your spine. Feel the space between the chest and the abdominal area, your diaphragm space. Are you sitting tall to enhance the space? Become aware of your jawline, release any tensions in the chin and the jaw. Feel your forehead. Smoothen your forehead consciously, allowing your eyes, your forehead to relax. Bring a beautiful smile to your facial area and relax the entire facial muscles. Feel the breath. Watch your breath. Watch your in-breath and the out-breath. Feel connected to your breath. Have a sense of gratitude towards this breath. Observe and watch the state of your mind. What is the state of your mind right now when you're sitting and watching the breath? Observe your thoughts as if you're watching a TV. What all is coming? What all is passing by? What thoughts are wanting to stay there? Adopt Namaskara Mudra at the heart center. 3 rounds of Om with Shanti mantra, slow, steady inhalations. Sahana bhavatu, sahanau bhunaktu, sahaviryam karavavahai, tejasvinavadi tamastu mavid vishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Janmadhyasya yatonmayaditaratah चार्थेष्वभिज्ञं स्वराट् तेने ब्रह्महृदाय आदिकवये मुह्यन्ति यत्सूरयः तेजो वारिमृदां यथा विनिमयो यत्र त्रिसर्गो मृषा धाम्ना स्वेन सदा निरस्तकुहकं सत्यं परं धीमहि सच्चिदानन्दरूपाय विश्वोत्पत्त्यादिहेतवे तापत्रयविनाशाय श्रीकृष्णाय वयं नमः नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरये ततो जयमुदीरये.
Namaste once more to everyone. What a wonderful number today. Good. Let me share the screen. Just Aarti and Bala, please continue the summary.
Last week we were looking at the most important aspect was the traits of Mahadeva. His state. We saw how Bhrigu and all the rishis were representing probably the state of tamas, and then there was the state of sattva also by Nandi and state of rajas by who was that? Daksha himself, right? And Mahadeva. So we in the personality are always caught with these three gunas are playing within us, the sattva, rajas and tamas, and that Mahadeva is that state beyond the sattva, rajas and tamas. Beyond that state, incomplete. How does Mahadeva behave? Right there, when Daksha is completely humiliating him, insulting him, and there are fights between Daksha and others and Nandi and all of those. Then Nandi is fighting on behalf of Mahadeva. Daksha is fighting for himself. And the rishis are sitting there, not doing anything. And finally, when they are put down, then they come up and they also start fighting. Bhrigu starts fighting. But Mahadeva is there in silence and he just walks out in absolute silence. Not an unfeeling silence. It says there very clearly, with a little sadness. Sadness is there, but an absolute, so it is not like a wall. It's not like a stone wall, but a choice of what to do. That complete state of silence in that moment and not letting any of that turmoil affect and just being there. That state is the state of Shiva, the beautiful state within each one of us. And if we can be in that state, all the turmoil that happens within us in our rajas, tamas and rajasic thoughts, the sattvic thoughts, the tamasic thoughts, but we retreat and watch the play like it is happening on a stage. And we be in that, here Mahadeva himself is being compared with the Lord at this point in time. So we are in the story of Daksha Prajapati and how he has given his daughter in marriage to Lord Shiva. But then when he enters the court, Lord Shiva doesn't get up, and only Lord Shiva and Brahma don't get up, but Brahma he is accepting, but Lord Shiva is his son-in-law and Daksha expects him to stand up. So from there on, his ego, and he does so much pointing at Mahadeva. Look at him, he has this ash over his body, he has this matter, he's so egoistic, he is, all those things. He goes on his rant about Mahadeva. But in fact, who was he really talking about? It was not about Mahadeva. It was his own inner, his personality, which was showing there at that point in time. So that is where we were. I think anything else you all want to add, Bala?
Again, going back to when Lord Shiva doesn't get up when Daksha comes in. Yeah, very beautifully, Lord Shiva says, I think we saw that it's right here, no, about the Namaskara. So Shiva says, when a person, basically the Namaskara is, we are doing Namaskar to the Narayana within, okay, to that spirit within, yes, to the Atman within. So Lord Shiva, very beautiful. I think later he says, or I don't know if he says here only, or to Sati maybe. So it is, Lord Shiva is beyond all this. He is totally identified with Narayana. Okay, he's in that state. He's beyond all these three gunas. That is what is the state of Mahadeva as described in this chapter. So Mahadeva says, it is not possible. I think here also, I could not was something. I could not do it. Yeah, I could not do it. So that is a highlight. It was here only. Down. Yeah. So anyone who identifies with the body. Okay, so Daksha here is identifying himself as Daksha Prajapati. That's body, like how I am saying I'm Bala, right? So that Mahadeva says it is not possible to do Namaskara. So that is something which we all can contemplate, And Mahadeva is the Lord of destruction, right? So he's the one who now triggers the destruction of ego of Daksha Prajapati. That is what we are seeing. So he'll now start. So Mahadeva's boons are always the trigger to which is followed. If we look at all the stories, all the boons, if you see, it triggers Bhasmasura. So many, So everywhere the ego gets destroyed, and he makes that person another devotee of Mahavishnu and all that. So that is beautiful. That is why we also say he's the annihilator, right? So
Ashutosha, he's easily pleased. Here I suddenly just, I might not be able to tell the exact version, but suddenly when Aarti was saying that he's there in one and all, there is a story of another Nayanar. Seriously, I don't know the name of the Nayanar, but it's a very interesting story which will relate to this topic is, where does it start? It starts, he looks like he's like a sculpture or something. He's working in a temple. Raja is building a Shiva temple. And this Brahmin, this worker is a big Shiva Bhakta. And always, of course, and when he was doing the work itself, he was always doing his japa, Shiva japa, and doing his work, So you remember the Karma Yoga aspect, always thinking of the divine and doing the work. And he was very happily doing it. And every day the Raja used to come to inspect the temple. He was very perfectionist oriented. So he wanted the temple to be as perfect as possible. Every day he used to watch the sculptures, how they are doing the features, whether they are doing very well. One day, unfortunately, he fell sick. When he fell sick, he was getting a lot of tension because if anyone falls sick, they lose a wage, their 1 day salary. And for him, it was trying to meet his ends. And he prayed to Shiva, just see what, now I'm fallen sick also. The Raja will come now. He won't see me also. Know how it is so difficult. He has a beautiful conversation. Is how in English, I'm not able to get in Tamil we say polemified like that, like as if he's like Shiva is like a friend, like that. He's been telling Shiva what to do and like that. And then after talking like that to Shiva, he falls asleep. He gets so drowsy, he falls asleep. Here, but the Raja is coming for his inspection, and there he saw this Brahmin doing his sculpture kind of thing. Okay. And so now we know who is this person, right? Who has come there in the form of this worker here. And this Raja tries to points out some fault which is there in that. And but this person does not respond. This worker or this Brahmin Nayanar does not respond much. And Raja went on trying to ask, and he got so angry that what, doesn't he realize that I am the Raja here standing here and he is not even looking at me? And what did he do? he took his, he asked his charioteer to give the whip, and he gave one lash at the man's back. Immediately, the moment he put the lash, suddenly he felt a pain in his back, and everyone around him also felt the pain. Nobody understood what was that pain. Okay. So, and then he was such a shock. He just thought, leave it off, because he was also having some kind of a pain in the back. He did not understand what it is. He went back to his chariot, and suddenly he saw his charioteer's back is also kind of torn with that whiplash. And he asked, what happened to you? I don't know, sir. Just a few minutes ago, I felt suddenly someone lashing at me. Oh, is that so? Raja was very astonished. Then he went back to his palace, and he saw everyone's back there has been the whiplash mark is there, and everyone were having like this. So he did not understand what is happening. So again, he went back. He said, there is some Maya in this Brahman, this sculpture. Let me go back again. When he goes back again, he talks to the manager of that, the temple who supervises everything. He said, where is it? Sir, he did not come, Raja. He did not come. Actually, he must be in his home only. He has not come. No. I spoke with him. I even gave him one lash also with my this thing. So where is he? No, he has not come. I will show you his house. So you can please go there and check with him. So Raja, now absolutely curious, he was wondering, how come the supervisor has told he's not there, but still I had a talk with him, and even I gave one beating also to him. So he goes to the Nayanar's house, and there he saw the Nayanar actually was totally sick, having the fever, very feverish. And then the Nayanar slowly opens his eyes. He is so stunned to see Raja sitting there. And the Raja is also stunned, because to know that the state of this person is absolutely not suitable to have worked in that place now. So now he also got confused. So he said that, I saw you an hour ago in that place doing that work, and I gave you one whiplash also. I'm very surprised that you are here. The Nayanar said, no, Raja, I have been here only. I have been telling my Shiva also that you will be so upset and all like that. And suddenly the Nayanar also, it just dawned on him. So you're saying that somebody was looking exactly like me? Yes. The Raja said, I even gave him a whiplash, but something very odd happened. Every one of us got a whiplash. Then immediately Nayanar absolutely was overwhelmed with that, that tear, the joy and everything together. And immediately said, oh, Shiva only has come, and you are so blessed to have Shiva's, you got a blessing to see Shiva in person. Immediately hearing that, Raja got really stunned to say, Hare, you're telling I'm fortunate? I have just done such a heinous act of giving one beating to Shiva, and you are telling me you're fortunate? I don't know what happened. What is he trying to say, that by we are also got all these things? We also got this lash on all our back. Then the Nayanar thought about it. He just says that he stays in all of us. He's there in all of us. So anything which happens to us also happens to him. Anything which happens you do to him happens to all of us, because he is living within everyone. So that is what he's trying to say. And this Nayanar became one of the greatest bhaktas, and of course he became a Nayanar. So I just thought it's a very valid story today.
It's very beautiful, because that Shiva is a state which is universal within us. At a personality level, we are all different because of our sattva, rajas, tamas guna. As a personality, we are all different. And that Shiva within us, that state, we are all the same. So when Shiva got a lash, everybody got a lash. So it is basically to bring that oneness within all of us. And then what Bala said about Lord Shiva being the annihilator of our ego, every story you see, whether it was Ganesha, the head was cut and an elephant's head was put. If you see Daksha also, because of his ego, he gets a goat head. And if you see Bhasmasura also, it is about burning the head. Everything is revolving around the head. The head is a denotion of the ego. So he is that who burns our ego, so that we can, that final ego, that I-ness of the Jivatma, he annihilates that, so that oneness with the Paramatma happens.
Ishvara.
So we'll continue here. I think Sati has been desperately requesting Shiva that she wanted to go for this Yajnashala. And she says a lot of things interestingly, as how a desire is sprouted from anyone's mind, and how we try to convince another person so that our desire gets fulfilled. So that, because other than that desire, nothing else comes in the picture, because it is my desire which has to be fulfilled. And that is what Sati was saying, and Shiva is trying to explain to her. And then again he says, I think from here we start. Silently Sati listens to his words. Yeah. Silently Sati was listening to his words. He looked at her and he sensed her rebellion. He could see all the thoughts that were passing in her mind, but he had to be firm. He said, if, however, you choose to ignore my words and decide to go, I can assure you that no good will come of it. To the proud and sensitive mind, an insult from one's own people will mean only one thing: death. I am warning you. You will not be welcomed by anyone since you're no longer Daksha's daughter, but Mahadeva's spouse. Anything you like to say, share anything? To the proud and sensitive mind, an insult from one's own people will mean only one thing: death.
Yeah, death. Let us not think about the final whatever for this lifetime death. That is one thing, when the body dies. Like Raghuramji has beautifully given in the Yoga Sutra book. Death also means at different levels, right? Whenever my self-image falls, every time I face death, right? I may be thinking whatever, something. So a pride, when I am so proud of something in me, I don't know, maybe I'm thinking an understanding mother, okay? Just an example. And that's very understanding mother. Okay, I'm thinking that way. And that pride is there as part of my own self-image, which made self-made image. And suddenly some event happens, okay, which defeats this idea. Oh yes, which completely defeats. It could come from my own daughter also saying, something there. I am facing that one reality at that time where, absolutely no understanding as a mother, okay, which is defeating the idea as an understanding mother. So that also, what happens at that time is this, so what this is like insult. I'm just looking at the pride and the sensitive mind. So when the mind is sensitive to pick up these things, okay, and when it is proud with whatever, it is so saying, so attached to that particular thing, and when something adverse happens, this falls, right? So that also we can look at it as death. Okay, so how do we face that? When we remember Bhagavan, even at those times, yes, what happens is, it becomes a very smooth, very nice. We start looking at it as a compassion. Okay, Mahadeva is now blessing me with this annihilation. Okay, making me more lighter. Okay, so even while living these things, so Mahadeva, it is a Mahadeva's blessing. Yes, immediately when we remember him, we will be able to take it that way. Otherwise, we fall into, all, whatever, my self-image is gone and I'm hurt and the ego is hurt, whatnot, all those things. So the final thing is one thing, but we can also apply it in our daily lives too.
You're
that
very
made any sense.
That one more suddenly just struck me, that you will not be welcomed by anyone there since you're no longer Daksha's daughter but Mahadeva's spouse. In a very, I'm not talking in a Mahadeva here, in a very generally I'm talking about women here. See, the woman, the girl who's been with her parents for quite some time, quite number of years, one identity, that identity with the parents. She gets married Now the identity is along with her husband. There no equality and all. Today also we were having a discussion with Raghuramji. The women tend to come into the equality. Remember something Raghuramji also said. He told very beautifully today that it's like a garland of so many flowers. Can I say one garland is the same as the other garland? So the garland cannot be the flowers cannot be fighting against each other. I am greater than you, or I am equal to you. Each garland, each flower is very different. And here also, if a woman here, since Women's Day is coming soon, I'm just telling here. So here the identity is first with the parents. You feel like, okay, my name was Prabha Parameshwaran. So that was my last name. So I was always it was a identity with my father and the family name. And suddenly you are shifted to another house, and then you're shifted to Prabha Krishna, right? So the apt name for me. So there again, how the beautiful the shift of the identity. It's like I felt that when Raghuramji used to share before and all, because some women used to come and tell me, why should I only change my last name? Like that. So Raghuramji again very beautifully said, why are you first of all attached to your father's name? So what is there to be attached to it? So come out of that attachment. You are this person. Right? Whether you are tagged along with Krishna or Duryodhana or Dhritarashtra or Parameshwara or Mahadeva, you are developing your own identity. At that time, you need not think that you are losing your identity. What you are having a choice, whether you are this side or that side. Finally, it's like you are now married, you are into this family, and can I consider that this family is right now my family? I think each time I remember this question answer session when it comes with Raghuramji's session. In the end, it's very, very interesting questions come at that time, saying that that is his family. I am doing my duty in his family. That is my husband's family. My house is in this hometown. So then Raghuramji used to correct. What happened to, now you're married here? This family is also your family. This house is also your house. No, Raghuramji. My husband is only earning. I am not earning. So this is not my house. Then Raghuramji used to smile and laugh. He said, materially in your gift deed or in your this thing, it is there in your name. But right now, the moment the woman feels that I am connected to this family, I am the fulcrum of this family, I am this person's spouse, I am this person's daughter-in-law, or I am the mistress of the house, or whatever it is, then the shift is very beautiful. That's where he said the vikarma will not come. We do everything with beautiful flow, like that. I don't know whether it relates to this, but suddenly it just came across this thought of mine. Anything you guys would like to share? Anyone else also? Yeah.
Someone has asked a question. If I say I visited temple and prayed for your safe religious trip, is that treated as ego?
See, I would like to answer. I have just whatever is coming to my mind. There are, say, three parts to me. One is my outside personality, which is dealing with this world. Okay, worldly affairs. I am doing this. I'm doing that. I'm taking care of my family. I am talking to people. I'm looking. It is an outward-looking me, fully outward-looking me. That is my personality. Okay, and then you go deeper. There is one individuality. I, as an individual, okay, I am unique from the other person. Certain times I exercise my choice. Okay, other person says so. This is what, in a way, what Prabha I was telling, what Raghuramji says. Why are you attaching yourself to a husband or those are just name attachments. You are an individual at the end of the day. Be attached to that individual within you, instead of being attached to all these names, which are just nothing but just some nama for this rupa. That is all it is. Okay, name for the form. Okay, now I can look at a laptop and say it is laptop. This laptop could have been named something else also. So that is all it is. It's just a name given to me at the end of the day. So why am I attaching so much significance to that name, which is attached to just this form? So you go and look at the individual. So now, when we are, there's nothing wrong with it, or there's no ego in it, but ego in a way that we are engaged at a personality level with the outside world. When I am saying, pray for your safe religious trip, there's nothing wrong with it. It's a simple talk. We all say that. It is not that it, but it comes from the personality level, is all we have to somewhere. It depends, and only each one can reflect and say from which level I am really praying also. Am I praying from the deeper higher self, or am I praying from that outside personality level? If we all say, no, oh, good, have a safe trip, very good, for a best of luck for your exams. All of this we say, no, all that is, or when we really sit down and we pray for something, when we are very deeply affected by something, or something has happened to somebody, and then we sit down and we really deeply pray for that. It's a good question, actually. At that point in time, also, we are seeking something in the outside world, but from a deep level. So it does engage the ego. Whenever the outside world is there, it does. But as long as you're able to go into the deeper aspect to some extent, I think I confused, but still, this is the idea. There is a personality and there is an individuality within each one of us. So it is worldly when you ask your safe trip, but we wish, no, it is good.
So here I also wanted to add on just a simple example. For example, Aarti is going to Mathura or some places, Badrinath and all that. And I pray silently, sincerely, that let Aarti be guided by the divine and have a wonderful religious trip and come back. After coming back, you finish everything and coming back. If I say, see Aarti, I prayed for you, see that's why you've come back. So then it's an ego trip of mine. Then I'm having an ego trip that, see, I prayed. So you're seeking acknowledgement also from Aarti. Say, I prayed so much, Aarti, that you do everything. And see, now you came back. So at that time, instead of, somewhere there, that's why they say, Sri Aurobindo also says, it's very difficult for a person to be 100% sincere in their prayers. Only Bhagavan can be 100% sincere. So maybe we try to give at least 60% sincerity in our prayers and not seek for acknowledgement and not seek to tell that, see, I prayed and you have come back good. Or I prayed, see, nothing happened. All went so wonderfully. I prayed that you get 80% in your CBSE exam, and see, you got 95. See the effect of my prayers. That is where becomes an ego trip. Or everywhere you're surrendering to see the glory of Bhagavan, how wonderfully you went and came. Then you are reminding everyone the how you have gone and did everything. It's not like you prayed, you are part of the prayer. That is why they do group prayers. We see in different religions also. They grouply pray together. If somebody is terminally ill, they gather together and pray together, because the group prayers are very healing in property. At that time, when one of the group healers come and say that I did 2 hours of prayers for you, then it is an ego trip for that person. So again, like where you are coming from, it's very important, like that.
Praying so big to connect with God in a way, to know that He is the doer.
Yeah, I wanted to share this. Basically, we need to understand what we call as prayer. Yeah. So very beautifully, I think few years ago, in the Balavihar class, I think one child, very nicely, I think he put that, I can remember. Prayers are really sincere when only Bhagavan is there. Yeah. But whenever, when I'm praying, see, we all are bound to be in that only. We are here yet, right? Okay, let the family be happy, or let their health issues, let there be no health issues for somebody, whatever I'm praying. we need to really see, am I thinking about Bhagavan or am I thinking about the family? Okay, so when I'm thinking about that member, I am okay, some positive, it is still in the realm of the mind. Okay, it is in the realm of the mind, and I'm connecting to that person somewhere the compassion, all that, has an effect, that all the positive effect is there, no doubt. But prayer, sincere prayer is where only Bhagavan is there. So for that, I would like to, again, I think we've maybe shared it. Again, it's very apt to look at Swami Vivekananda. He, when he had come to Ramakrishna, so at some point in time, his family, Swami Vivekananda's father, there was a lot of challenges, okay, poverty and health challenges. I think his father was not well, lot of things, okay. So Swami Vivekananda, somewhere he started feeling, because I took up sannyas and I am here doing, the family is suffering. So he goes to Thakur and he asks, wouldn't your Kali Mata help me? See, I have come here, I've taken your disciple and being your disciple. So Ramakrishna says, yeah, it's Tuesday, good day, go and ask Kali Mata, go to the temple and pray. So Raghuramji tells this, no, Prabha. So Swami Vivekananda goes there, sits for a very long time, and he comes back and Thakur asks, did you ask? You have to ask God only. Nobody else can solve your problem. Only God can. Did you ask the mother? So Vivekananda says, no, I could not. The moment I went, sat there, all that was there was only Kali Mata. Naren was not there. He could not ask. So that is the ultimate prayer. Okay. We need to strive for that. Somewhere I am praying, maybe out of fear, out of concern, that should not happen, this should not happen. We all are there. Yes, this is also a way, but slowly strive to that hotline, we say, that has to be all the time live. The live wire must be there all the time with Bhagavan. That's all it is.
There's one thing here is the thought process somebody has written as the world is referred to the Dukkalayam, which I would just like to share my understanding, or which I have been inspired by Raghuramji and other great masters is one thing is, as we think, so we are, they say. When we think that the world is a place of suffering, then we would feel that oh, where have I come to it? I've already, so it's a suffering. I have to bear, let me do my duty. So I have to do my duty. I should do my duty. So the moment we add these shoulds and have tos, and the think that the world is there for me for people, or it's full of Maya and this is a suffering area. It's like a football where you have the field is not smooth, it is full of craters. Then it automatically, the brain gets kind of comes into a feeling that, oh, I have to bear with all this suffering. So, but the moment, like Raghuramji very beautifully describes, anything as celebration of life. When we think that this world is like a playfield here, and I have been brought to this world for a reason, and let me just explore that exploration, rather than thinking that this is a place of dukkham, then it really makes a difference. There is a very beautiful understanding in Vedanta what is dukkha and what is sukha. Dukkha, sukha, space, sukha, space, good space, bad space. If I am thinking that this space is bad, then everything whatever experiences are coming to me, then I would always finally, it is like there were science experiments in what is the aim and objective of this experiment, what is the experiment about, and what is my conclusion. So every time the conclusion would be, see, finally, this world is a dukkha space. This is a bad space. And I have been brought up to these experiences. Finally, it is bad. So, but the moment I shift my absolutely take a complete 360-degree rotation and think that this world is then given to me as a place to explore. It's like a forest given to me, and I just stand there in the end of the forest saying, no, 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 this forest is deadly. This forest is there to only gobble me up and entangle me. This forest is there only to snatch me and push me. Then I will never enter into the forest. I draw my boundaries. Or I will go into the forest, but there is always boundary caught. I'll be catching my body like this and only walking. I will not be experiencing those things and getting my learning what the life has given me. But the moment I think that I am in a sukha space, I am in a good space, I am in a space where, like a child who was given a Lego toy and keeps experimenting with that Lego to make different buildings, I am given a life where I'm going to ensure that I'm going to explore, experience, learn, fall, get up, have pain, have grief, resentment, anger, happiness, so many different Navarasas, like RP beautifully talks in the Swadhyaya course. All that will come, but I am there. That celebration aspect is there in my head, that sukha aspect is there. So that gives a big shift in the way we work also. So, which I just hope that made it gives some
beautiful. So the Dukkhalaya, that flower, whatever, and it is the world is a Dukkhalaya, which is ashashvatam, not permanent. Okay, so again, it comes to whether I am identified with the personality. When I say personality, I'm identified with my body, I'm identified with my mind, I'm identified with my intellect. Oh, I am an intelligent person, but somebody else is more intelligent than me. Then I become a little, less in confidence. I am identified as very beautiful, but somebody is more beautiful than me. Then I feel a little less confident. All this. So it is ashashvatam at the personality level. Things are ashashvatam at the personality level. And at the higher self within, there it is shashvatam. Narayana within us. Narayana is not sitting anywhere. When my identification is with that Narayana. So even for the previous question, I was thinking, is Narayana there am I praying to Narayana for my worldly affairs? Or am I living in this world so that I can be with Narayana, looking at everything in the world as his Leela? That is the difference. So when I'm saying, okay, okay, may you have a good darshan. There's nothing majorly wrong or right with that. But if I'm now having anxiety and I'm having some fear or I'm having some regret, and based on that, now I'm doing some serious prayers and saying, may everything go well, then it is definitely at a worldly level. Nothing right or wrong, but it is definitely, we should know, like what Bala said, when I pray, just to pray, just to be with him, just to be at his feet. That is different from praying for something in the transactional world.
And Swamiji says, no, Aparajita Nandaji, very beautifully. Yes, many times we take God as the means, world the goal. Mm-hmm. Yes. I want this, I want that. It need not be just matter, even, health for somebody. It's a good cause, but I want that good cause. So God help me. Okay. So God is the means, but world is the goal. That is also world only, right? For the well-being, whatever. Because I think something is the well-being and that is what is the well-being. Okay. But Krishna may be having different plans of well-being for that person. That acceptance is still not there. There is no total acceptance. So world as the but bhakti actually starts only when we start taking world as the means, God as the goal. Yeah. So here, okay, Dukkhalayam, yes, take it as a means, like what, it is a beautiful way of celebrating, but again, the risk there is not to get caught in it and think that is the eternal happiness. Yes, we should know it is Ashashwatam. That is why this is given. This is a wonderful tool. Why Vedantists, why if we read Bhajagovindam, I remember a few years ago when we were reading, I felt like, oh my God, nothing, nobody. Okay. So, but sometimes, for us to wake up, I may be thinking, oh, my permanent family is very happy. I'm happy. Where is dukkha? Okay. Everything is so happy. Why should I? So I'm so identified with this. So to shake me up, yes, something where I'm totally identified with drops or is taken away. So that is when we realize, oh, Ashashwatam. Yeah. So to turn to that Shashwata Krishna, right? We need to realize the fact, not to be, suffer. Krishna never says suffer. Okay. He doesn't say, he says, the Pandita never suffers. Yeah. He doesn't feel, he says, every bhakta of mine is complete, satatam santushta, always happy. That is what he says. But here, the world that we see is in constant change, flux. We need to be in touch with that reality. Only then we can move to the Sukha. So that is why center of life is Krishna. So beautifully you have written. Center, it is God-centered. As long as I'm
looking at God, we are looking at the world all the time. Turn 180 degrees and look at Krishna at all point in time within you, in your heart. That's all.
Yeah. Actually, here, this page is there. Swami Tejomananji's book. Yeah, Daksha Prajapati and Shiva, Lord Shiva. Very beautifully he is given. Right? Daksha Prajapati as the Pravritti Marga, the extrovertedness. And Lord Shiva as the Nivritti Marga, the renunciation and the introvertedness. Right? Look at the Sukha of Lord Shiva and look at the Dukkha of Daksha. Right? So very beautifully he is given. Lord Shiva revels in Bhagavan. Yes, it is said that he keeps reading Bhagavatam. He is the one who chants Rama, 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 right? They say the Rama is in the heart of Mahadeva. The Rama, the Shabda, the 2 syllable, that's the mantra. So Lord Shiva, in fact, they say, right, so much of love for Krishna, he has written. He even goes in the form of the gopi, right, in Vraja, to take part in the Leela, Rasa Leela. So Lord Shiva is a great devotee of Lord Vishnu. Such a Nivritti Marga, renunciate and completely with Bhagavan. But extrovertedness is Daksha, action-oriented. Yes, they only want to keep busy doing more and more and accomplishing more and more. Daksha means, he says, dexterous, efficient. Yeah. People on the path of pravritti rely primarily on their intellects. So what is it? I am identified with the Ashashwata. The body, the mind, the intellect are the Ashashwata. Daksha Prajapati in the story, whatever we are seeing, is so identified with that. Yeah, that is what Lord Shiva, on the other hand, is the embodiment of faith. Now coming to Sati. He says Sati loved Shiva and married him. However, she found herself in peculiar predicaments. She was the daughter of the rational, intellectual Daksha, but wife of the faithful, devout Shiva. So, sometimes the father's way of thinking ruled her mind. Sometimes her husband's ways. Very nicely is written this. As long as she followed and lived her husband's ways, her mind was at peace. Yes, that devote, that nivritti, and, with that shraddha, the faith. The moment she came under the influence of her father's ways, identifying with the body-mind, her mind would become agitated. At times, the mind is filled with doubt, and at times it overflows with faith. I think many of us face that, right? A mind filled with faith is at peace and at ease. A mind filled with doubt starts logical and intellectual arguments, just like how Sati is asking so many things to Shiva, right? And it becomes greatly disturbed.
So we'll continue here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Aarti would like to continue here.
No, we can continue.
You'll read, Aarti?
Yeah. So Sati was very unhappy. Her husband had asked her not to go, he had said that she should not go, that it would end in disaster if she went against his wishes. But her heart was in the Yajnashala, where her dear ones were present. She would walk in and out of her little home trying to decide on the course of action. And Mahadeva was watching her all the while without speaking a word. Prevented as she was by her husband from going to her people, her eyes filled with tears. And at the same time, woman-like, she looked angrily at her husband since he would not accede to her wish. She asked for so little and he would not grant her that. Finally, her womanliness won. Leaving her husband, whose half she was, with long sighs escaping her, she made up her mind to go to the Yajnashala. She walked swift and straight as an arrow without looking back. The servants of Mahadeva followed her. They placed her on a glorious bull and they went towards the Yajnashala, and Mahadeva was sitting all alone. His mind was filled with sadness. As I was reading these lines, I remembered Lord Rama and Sita. As long as Sita Mata, when it was told to Rama comes and tells Sita, I am going to the forest. Okay, my father has given such a boon and I have to fulfill. It's my duty. Going to the forest. You please stay here and take care of my parents. At that time, Sita says, no, wherever you are, I am happy there. If you are in Ayodhya, where Rama is, that is Ayodhya for me. She said, I'll be very happy. It is like Sati being with whatever that thing, Sati being with Shiva. Sita being with, Sita is the Jivatma. Sati is the Jivatma. Okay, the individual, when that individual is with God, she's happy wherever, in the forest or in Ayodhya. Sita, when she is with the highest God, with Rama. But there she goes and then she looks outside. She looks at the deer. And she gets all these, this deer, I want that deer. Rama says, no, that deer, something looks wrong with that deer. Why is it coming here near humans? It should not come near humans, but still it is coming. There must be something. No, I want that deer. And finally, Rama gives in and she makes him, she makes sure she's separated from him, just like the Sati goes away. And then what happens? All the Arishad Vargas and more, all the 10 things come and capture her. The moment we look outwards, Ravana with his 10 heads of probably all the Kama, Krodha, Mada, Moha, all that comes and captures. So similarly here, the Jivatma is right in the middle. Outside is the ego, like the Daksha, and the Paramatma on the other side. Now Sati is with Mahadeva, she is very happy. She is the Jivatma and Mahadeva is the Paramatma. But when the Jivatma now is so confused, but finally chooses to go with the world. Then death, which was shown. Death is when you are identified with the body, because only the body dies. Our soul doesn't die, ever. So when we identify with the outside world, death happens. As long as we are identified with the supreme reality, immortal.
I think we can continue, right? Right? Isn't it? Yeah. Bala would like to start.
Sati kills herself. From a distance, Sati could hear the sonorous music made by the incessant chanting of the Vedas. As she approached the spot, she could see the Yajnashala filled with all the great rishis and all the devas, Gandharvas, Siddhas, and Charanas. She reached her destination. The Yajnashala was glowing like heaven. She looked at everyone. She looked at her father. Daksha looked quite through her as though she did not exist. No one had the courage to defy Daksha and greet Sati. No one dared to welcome her. Only her mother and her sisters embraced her and expressed their joy at seeing her. They tried to make a fuss of her, but she would have none of it. Ignored as she was by her father, she would not look at anyone else. The realization came upon her that this was a yajna which would not give a share to Mahadeva, that it was performed with the sole purpose of insulting her lord. Mahadeva had told her so clearly the course the events would take, the indifference which would greet her when she entered her, because she was the wife of Mahadeva. But she, in her foolishness, would not pay heed to his words. She remembered the sad and the resigned look on his face when she had last seen him, and anger flashed from her eyes. She was so furious that words would not flow easily and distinctly from her lips. Her lips were throbbing with anger, and her eyes were red with anger. Her entire frame seemed to be like a flame without smoke. Sati looked at her father and said, "What a foolish person you are. You call yourself the enemy of the Lord, of one who has no equal in the universe. Only a fool like you will do such a thing. People can be classified into different categories. The first is the lowest type. He is called an asadhu. He will see only faults in the other man. He will have no eyes for good in him. The second is the mediocre. This man sees the good as well as the bad in another. There is again a third type. They are those who can find the difference between good and bad qualities, but who will treat them in a sensible manner, look at them in the proper way and proper perspective. They are called good people. The better class of men are those who ignore faults and take into account only what is good. But the really great souls are those who will not even look at the faults, who will not admit that there are faults. They will try to enhance even the smallest of the good quality in the other and applaud him for it. They'll ignore the faults even if they are innumerable.
What a beautiful lesson for us, no?
I like this first point, which I thought is so important for all of us. The first, this is the lowest type. He will see only the faults in another man. He will have no eyes for the good in him. So important. You see, we read it. It applies very good sense while reading it. Very important is to the practical application. Is when I am seeing someone, what am I seeing? How am I seeing? Am I seeing, like you say, in the body level, identifying with their body images? Oh, this person is fat, this person is a body image. Am I looking at their mind level? This person is highly intelligent. This person is very highly qualified. This person is not at all qualified. Is a dumb person. We have these statements, which is very dangerous, whether we talk to ourselves or when we talk in front of our kids or with the family members. This person is much big show off. This person is highly, egoistic. So many ways we talk in the mind. Intellectual is highly very intellectual person, totally dyslexic. I think this lady is dyslexic in nature. So we use this word so sometimes I've seen people using that word very loosely. Oh, she's he or she is so, this thing is not so dumb. You see the word dumb for the children also to be used. This is where it's so important, is how we are looking at a paper. That's, they say, very usual example, that when we look at a paper, we put the dot there, the mind goes to the dot only. Mind does not go to the blank, beautiful white space. So important. I felt that the first type, for our learning, I think maybe could be a good week assignment for all of us, that sometimes we see the good and the bad qualities we see, but most of the time when we are conversing, the bad qualities starts hitting you more. It also applies to self also, because as a self person, we also sometimes look at what we are not good at, and sometimes we forget what all we are good at also. So that self-critical voice also comes very, very high, because somewhere we also tend to fall into that, oh, I don't have this, I lack this, I am lazy, I am this, I am that. So many those qualities we start pointing out to ourselves also, which also stops our progress. The moment we go beyond those good, bad, and all that, then it really, I feel it helps our growth, is what I feel.
Thank God Bhagavan doesn't see the faults. Then there'll be no compassion only. Very beautifully, I heard. I think, I don't know if it is. Because this is nice. If we have something, this is nice to finish for today, I think. See, basically, one way of looking at, Bhagavan's hands in everything. Yeah. He's the one, right? So, he is the supreme controller. No doubt about it. He is the supreme Ishvara, right? He is the one. So, if we think like everything has been signed and sent by him. It was somewhere I heard, I don't know. So that was very powerful. Basically, everything is signed by Krishna and given. Yes, something comes through somebody. Yes, it has been signed by him and given to me. And the other person is only an agent carrying it. And he has signed because of my past karma, my egoistic karma. And they are just reflecting that back to me. That is how life works, isn't it? So when we see that way, where is fault, where is good, where is, it is just like, that's why we say Ishvara Prasada, right? Whatever I get is Ishvara Prasada. This is very powerful to practice. Whenever I get kind of agitated, whatever, comes to the mind, or even flying high when someone is telling something, appreciating, or when someone is putting us down. Yes, the moment someone puts us down, our ego starts finding fault in the other person. Okay, the one who is being a critic, if we see, or at least that is what I have reflected, and someone who is a good critic, right? He or she for this is, so basically he or she, I have taken it as putting down me. So my ego starts finding fault in the other person. So, it works. Basically, whatever is inside only is reflected outside. So, everything comes through him. He has signed it. So, what else? He's the authority. He has signed and giving it back. And whoever is coming around are just agents of my karma. They are just, agents reflecting it back to me. So, then we will not even put it in this socket of, good, bad, fault.
Every person is here in my life as per his design.
That's all.
That's all. We accept that. And then when there is something within us which is causing a turbulence, which is making me look at something that the other person is doing as good or bad. Turn inwards, identify that, and drop that. Let go of that. Then I'm not going to look at whether this person, because when I turn inwards and I seek the Lord, look at this person being in my life as someone who can help me turn towards God, so that this particular whatever is there within me can get dropped. And slowly, I keep getting closer and closer to him. Look at every situation and every person as his Leela. No dukkhalayam, no ashashvatam, all only shashvatam. Then shashvatam is permanent, ashashvatam is impermanent. Just anybody has any?
Yeah, sorry. In this flux, in this movement, we are connected to that Shashvatam. That is the beauty. Okay. So I think we read, right? In which one? I think the first Chatushloki, right? He says, I am there before the creation, during the creation, after the creation. Even Omkara chant when we do, that is what we see, right? It is like before, during, after. So during is that Vishnu who is just all pervasive. He's just there everywhere. Okay, so he has, once we start connecting everything as, his prasad, his leela. Okay, basically we just have to remember him. Then he will give us the connection. We cannot connect intellectually. It's beyond our intellect to decipher. Yes, I cannot think, oh, okay, how is this? No, it's not in my capability. Just remember his name, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, keep telling. He will show us, suddenly, oh, okay, this is why it happened. So if someone wants to share something like that has dawned in you, it will be beautiful. Or anything else? Or
Close the session. We'll chant Om Namo Narayanaya 3 times. 11 times. Om Namo Narayanaya. 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 Kayena vacha manasendriyeva buddhyatmana bha prakrite swabhava karomi yajna sakalam parasmai narayanaayeti samarpayami. Om sarve bhavantu sukhinah. Sarve santu niramayah. Sarve bhadrani pashyanto. Ma kaschid dukkha bad bhavet. Om shanti shanti shanti. Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.